one more time, one more review. 2 more reviews, actually.
Yes.
We are back, folks. It is the end. The final Malc and the Fat Kid review. This time we're coming at you with our favorite movies. Yes, we do have them.
Yes, they might not be this decade, but they are our favorites.
Indeed, they're very much not in this decade.
Somebody who watched this might have been born when these movies came out. Shame on you.
We call those people dupes. Well, let's start with mine, since I think we'll talk more on yours, to be honest.
Probably.
My favorite is Scarface. To explain it, it's kind of an interesting choice for me. It's the first time I've ever seen the American dream told that way, which is kind of what it is. It's a perverted look at the American dream as
kind of like Pain and Gain.
Yeah.
Except they didn't try taking a true story and making it into a comedy.
No, it's not a comedy at all. Even though Pacino's Pacino. He always gets some great one-liners in there, but...
Oh, yeah.
Hello to the bad guy.
One thing I didn't know about this whole movie, it's called Scarface. He's got the scar on his face. But not once throughout the whole movie does anybody reference that scar.
They mention it at the very beginning, when they ask if he got it eating pussy.
Yeah.
And that's it. In fact, I will say this about the Blu-ray, and I'm going to step out of camera. Probably didn't actually step out of it, just to show my collection here. Now, when I say that I am a big fan of it, I got the Platinum Edition on DVD. Back in storage, I also have the 20th Anniversary Edition. Got the Steelbook Blu-ray Edition. On top of that, I even have the Collector's Edition of the PS2 Scarface The World Is Yours. So yeah, I'm a huge... I love the story.
I own none of them.
It's an acquired taste.
90% of the people in the world love this movie. I'm one of the 10% that I'll watch it. Own it?
Yeah, I'm kind of interesting on it. Like, for me, it's like the one...
Obviously.
Yeah, it's the masterpiece that I can say that I'm a fan of. I don't know...
It's your Bruce Leroy. It's the one.
Even though, like...
Or, for you newer generations, Jet Li. The one.
Even though I tend to be kind of a jerk and stop midway, at the conclusion of the rise part of the story. Just because the ending, a little depressing, even though the ending is probably the greatest last stand filmed in movie history.
I don't know. Have you seen The Three Amigos?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
But I have to say, hey, I can understand people not liking it. It's a very, very dark story.
I think the problem I have with it is, I'm not a huge mob fan anyways, but, 90% of the time, it's just him, coked out and just, spacing out. Mm. It's like, if I wanted that, I just look at my coworkers all day. Well, they're not on cocaine or anything, but they're just spacing out.
Well, it's an interesting story. I mean, he comes into America, he's all, I won't say bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, because no, he's not. I made the reference that, Tony has this, eternal, it's not really a scowl, it's like a frown on his face the entire time.
Kind of looks like a fish man.
Yeah, I made the reference that he looks like, there's an alien during the end credits of the original Star Trek TV series, where it looks just like Tony Montana, but he comes in and he has ambitions. He has really huge ambitions to make money, get power, and gain respect. But he doesn't care exactly how he gets it. So he goes into the world of crime off the...
Well, and here's another thing. You say he wants to get, but in all actuality, he thinks he already deserves all this stuff.
Which, in a lot of ways, even the people who do it legitly, they have to have that. You have to have that aura. You have to have that belief that you deserve to get there, or else you're not going to.
Yes, but when you demand the people that you're, you look at the movie, and I told you when we were watching it, this is the only movie where you see this low level grunt like jump over people's heads that's above him, that's been with this guy for months on end. They've already been like put in stone in this guy's group, and here's some newbie fresh out of the water, and he's like jumping people. Now back in the day, they would have just went, okay, pow, screw you, buddy. That's not how we run things. But no, Scarface, no. Tony, you shut up, man. I'm gonna punch you. I don't like you. You gonna do something? Maybe.
Well, I guess he was fortunate enough to enter crime around a bunch of pussies. But, yeah, he
We're the Fluffy Bunny Gang.
through a very nice outsmarting of his boss, he eventually murders his way to the top. He enjoys a very nice rise and a very nice lifestyle that includes him getting a tiger. Can't beat that. And
that you see twice.
Mm-hmm. Though you do see him at the beginning of the World Is Yours game as he saves Tony's life as he's escaping from the mansion.
Nice.
But anyway, spoiler there, sorry. Anyway,
it's PS2, man. I don't think you have to worry about throwing spoilers out there. PS4 coming out in a few months. PS2 game. Spoiler alert, people! You will never probably play this game because, no one who owns a PS3 or PS4 really play a lot of PS2 games anymore.
PS4 is going to be awesome, by the way, but I digress. So anyway, after we go to the fall portion of the story, and this is where I agree with you. Tony Montana becomes a goddamn moron. He doesn't trust anybody, not even his best friend. He has to be there counting his own money. He gets caught by the cops, and it causes this downward spiral. As it's very funny. He's murdered people, and he sells drugs, but now he decides that at the most inconvenient of times to get a moral code.
Yeah.
And
it's like they're going, we can't just make Tony look like this complete jack. We need to do something. How can we make him better? Like we need to show that there's a soft side to Tony. I know. We'll make it so he doesn't want to kill women and kids. Really? But he's gonna kill the people who provide for these people, putting these people out on the streets, and God knows what else. He doesn't think that far, but as long as he doesn't see it happen, it's okay.
Oh God! So yeah, he doesn't go through with a hit, and it ends up fucking him hardcore. The people that would send him the drugs decide to send assassins to kill him instead, and we have one of the most memorable moments in cinematic history. With
I don't think you can actually call them assassins because they just run up pirates.
They were pirates, man.
We have pirates in the mansion.
I mean, they got long hair and like arg.
Not one of them says arg, by the way.
Okay, fine.
Even though this would have been awesome to talk about on Talk Like a Pirate Day, which happened last week.
Oh man, but yeah. So I just love the entire story. It's very interesting, and it's a very fun lesson too. Another thing I love about this movie is the soundtrack. This has the most dated. It is not timeless. This music, you will not hear Shrek and company sing "Rush Rush" to the Yayo anytime soon.
There's like one song throughout the whole movie that actually has carried on from that movie.
Push it to the limit, limit. Oh, I love that song.
Yeah.
And
that's like the best song in the whole movie if you haven't seen it. So if you're looking for the soundtrack, don't bother.
She's on fire. I'm still trying to find it. If it was on iTunes, I would have purchased it by now. But I love the soundtrack.
The people who sang it after watched the movie, they said, "We must make sure this song never sees the light of day other than this movie."
I will say, as much as I love the movie and I defend it, I'm still shocked that Scarface is so prevalent, especially in urban culture. Because mainly, if you're gonna, what's the word when you idolize? When you want to idolize someone in your life of crime, you really don't want to do it with Tony Montana. You don't want to emulate him at all.
Nope.
Maybe the ambition side of it, but you could be a little smarter about it. But yeah, that's my favorite movie. I don't watch it. I can pop in Lethal Weapon like anytime and just watch that beginning to end.
Especially if you own it. You can pop in any movie you own anytime and watch it.
Oh yeah, but this one is requires a serious sit down to watch. But I love Scarface. Very good movie. If you haven't seen it, go rent it by all means. I don't know if it's on Netflix streaming, but go find it. It's great.
It's on YouTube in 15 parts.
Oh, if you don't have that much time, I highly recommend that you go on YouTube and look up Scarface the fucked version, which it's just like every time Tony Montana says the F word streamed together.
If you actually watch this on TV, if they take out the parts where he says the F word, you're probably watching a movie that's 45 minutes shorter than what it actually is.
It's very interesting because like you can watch all these F words streamed together, and you really have watched the movie. It's like he says it in every single big part of the movie.
There's not one sentence he says without saying the word at least once or twice.
Let's see. Just going through it, but like I remember in the Platinum Edition, I believe that there is a counter where it counts like every bullet fired and every time the F word is fired. And the F word had the lead for the longest time, but until it got to the final scene, all of a sudden.
Yep.
Scarface, the video game in this limited edition, has a DVD talking behind the scenes about the guy. It's sliding. About the guy who played the voice. It's not actually Al Pacino, though he gave the rights to his face. He explains. It's interesting because he has this whole procedure of like how he says every word is Tony Montana. He's like, you have to say it like a force of nature. Fuck you. That's how you say it, and it's worth it just to see that. But I enjoy the heck out of that movie. It's great. But that's me. Now, what's your favorite movie, Fat Kid?
My favorite movie, like I said, I'm not a big mob fan, so I like the offbeat movies, I like comedies, So my favorite movie is The Princess Bride.
Nice. He has a great last stand too.
Yes.
No Coke in this movie, though, sadly.
Yes, it's all Pepsi products. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's one of those movies that no matter what's going on, you can sit down and watch it. Well, for me anyways. And it's got so many different memorable parts in it.
Oh, God, it's loaded with memorable parts.
And the cool thing about this is, you see, like, the character Wesley, and you see how he's not just one-dimensional. And that was kind of cool, because you don't see a lot of main characters that have, like, a variety of different things. Like, usually you have, like, like, one guy's, like, the brains, and that one's the bronze, the tacticianer, and stuff like that, and he's got all of it. And it's cool how they separate, like, when he fights Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
In the contest of strength.
Very memorable role with Andre the Giant in this one. I really dug it.
Where he throws a rock, smashes, and he's like, he turns and goes, we'll fight mano a mano, like you put your rock down, I put my sword down? Yes. Well, just how this seems fair. I could just throw this rock at you now. I see your point. And then he puts the sword down and he's like, I still think you have a slightly advantage. He goes, it's not my fault. I don't even work out. And when he fights...
It's very different fighting against one person.
When you're used to fighting against a mob, you use different tactics. And then when he's fighting Emilia Montoya. Yes.
Montoya, Montana.
You see his fighting ability with the sword. And the skill he has. And it's cool because he grew up as a farm boy, and here's this guy who like literally studied swordplay. And he's on par with this dude. And even better. And I think that's kind of a cool feature. And he doesn't do it like right away. He already has you see the respect between the two. And I think that was like really cool.
Oh yeah, like in the Blu-ray you have, I believe there is like an entire section that talks about just that fight and everything that went into it. Like the quote at the end where Montoya is defeated and he's like, "Okay, make it quick," and what is he called? The pirate name again?
Oh, the Dread Pirate Roberts.
Roberts, and Dread Pirate Roberts is like, "I could no more kill you than I could destroy a stained glass window." Just like that comment is like. Yeah, that's wonderfully.
Yep. You know, and it's like he has like so many different villains, and I think that's another cool feature where each villain has their own place and role, and as it goes through, you know, and he fights the challenges instead of having just one main villain that he works his way up to.
I love the Sicilian, by the way.
Yeah.
You never fight against a Sicilian when his life is on the line.
No, it's when death is on the line.
Death is on the line. Okay, sorry.
You know, and that whole scene's like, see, you're strong. You beat my giant. So you would think that you could take the poison. So you would put the cup closest to you. But you also beat my Spaniard, which means you're smart. So you would think that I would know that. So I would take the cup and move it to me. Kind of like a who's on first thing. You know, and it just... The whole movie has such great build-up all around. And even the villains become the good guys. And they have villains in the movie, too. You know, the Six-Fingered Man.
Oh, yes, yes.
You know, and it's cool how that transitions. You have them as a villain, then they become the hero, and they also have a villain. You don't really see that in any other movie.
Yeah. And there's so much heart that went into this movie, too. Like, the Sicilian whose name escaped... the actor's name
right.
escaped.
Isn't that,
He's one of those guys that's been in everything.
Yeah, he's, Ron Howard's brother, isn't it?
Yeah,
Is it Ron Howard's brother? No. Okay. Wait, no, it's not. I get them confused. They kind of look alike. Sorry.
Yeah, like another part in the special features, there's a scene where Andre is pulling them up the rope, and I guess the guy was really scared of heights, and Andre could sense this, and he's like, "Don't worry, you will not fall. I will not drop you." And the guy was completely fine.
When a guy that big tells you that, "Don't worry, I got this," you believe him.
If death comes near you, I'm gonna rip his soul out.
You know, and for Andre the Giant, this is another cool thing. You know, he has that speech impediment because of his size and his accent.
Yeah, he's French.
You know, and you would think when you first heard he's going to be in a movie, you're like, I don't know. I've seen his wrestling promos. Hogan. Win. What? Huh? Yeah? Then you're like, oh no, he's going to be in a movie. Like, I hope he doesn't have any lines. Oh God. But in this movie, you know, when he's talking and stuff, you hear him clearly. He's so good. You know, he gets you to love him instantaneously. You know, and just the whole around story of this whole thing is just awesome.
Oh yeah, everything about it, top to bottom, is great. This, well, Scarface, you can argue about whether it's timeless or not. This is a timeless tale.
That's right.
I could show this to my kids. I don't know if I'll ever, Bad Natty, will ever show Scarface to my kids.
Maybe when they're 20.
Yeah, maybe Lethal Weapon, but aside from that. But it's a very, very sweet tale. I mean, like, the characters just stick with you. My name is Diego Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. You can't do a review on Princess Bride without saying that.
Yeah, you have to.
It's law. But yeah, the whole scene where he finally finds the six-fingered man is just beautiful. And maybe you can help me out with this. So, is he paralyzed for the rest of his life, or does he gain the ability to walk back, or
the Spaniard or Dread Pirate Roberts?
Dread Pirate Roberts, because you know
he does. If you remember at the end, he's starting to regain he stands up at the end.
Okay.
But he can't stand up for long because he's not fully recovered yet.
Okay, so it's just a matter of time before
That's
he gets
right.
it all back. Okay.
Billy Crystal.
He's only mostly dead. See,
Miracle Max.
This entire movie, you know, if you couldn't tell already, is just full of memorable quotes. Literally, I would say roughly 80% of it is memorable quotes.
You hear him? He said to believe, which is to lie. Liar! Liar! He said true love. What do you know, you old hag? Oh, yep.
But yeah, that's another timeless one. So if you haven't seen it already,
go buy it.
Yeah, go
Don't
buy
even rent it. Buy it.
Let's see. Like, I don't own a physical copy, but I do have an Amazon Prime copy that I can watch digitally. It's awesome. Helps with the move. Which takes us to this next part, folks. This has been a depressing freaking day for me. I'm going to tell you straight. I just said goodbye to all my coworkers at Metro PCS, who are a bunch of fantastic guys. Lucinda, Alex,
And girls.
John, Mark, Kevin, everyone over there, dude. Love you guys to death. You know, they got me a cake, man. They got me a fucking cake, and it took all my power not to cry. God damn it. And I transitioned from that to saying goodbye to the fat kid.
So you say goodbye doesn't mean it's forever, man. You're still in the same states.
That is true. That is true.
Maybe someday I'll take a journey.
I would dig that. But let's talk for a little bit about that. I thought I could sort of like talk with you, look back on the whole thing. Now, I was actually kind of surprised that you said okay to the whole movie thing. Mainly because, you know, that's a bit of a commitment. Go to the movies every single week.
Not to say that it's midnight premieres or 10 o'clock premieres, and I had to be up at 5:30 in the morning the next day.
Exactly, and
sometimes I wouldn't get home until like 2 in the morning, so it's like 3.5 hours sleep.
Like the first time, and an interesting thing, like the first time we did that, which was with Evil Dead way back then. That was at midnight. That was a proper showing. We came back, got done at like 2, did the recording, which back then we didn't know what we were doing. It was over in 10 minutes.
Not saying we know exactly what we're doing now, but we're a lot better than we were.
And dude, we're talking now. Now we can go for like 30 minutes. So we were like, oh boy, that's gonna take some getting used to. You know, I had to work out something with my job, saying like, hey, look, please don't put me on morning shifts anymore. But from then on, however, that wasn't the case. They would do midnight showings at like 10 o'clock. Or even earlier, like Man of Steel, we saw at 7.
Well, that was a special promo through Walmart.
Yes, which Walmart should do more of, because that was great. It was like
7 o'clock is a lot better than 10 and a lot better than midnight.
It's like 10:30 we go home. That's great. We're old. We can't stay up till 2 a.m. anymore.
Well, I can. I still go to bed about midnight, 12 o'clock.
So. And you said yes pretty quickly. Just out of curiosity, why is that?
You know, I've done this with a few of my friends, and you know, I always love doing these things. You know, it's fun. It's great to hear, you know, express your opinions, hear other people's opinions, and you get to discuss it. And you know, you go to the movies and see movies with your friends. Sometimes, you know, you just go to the movies, you see the movies, then you all split up and go your own separate ways. Mm. So, you know, one thing I like with this is you see the movie, and we come back, and we kind of hang out, and we do the review, and yet we actually get to discuss the movie. Mm-hmm. You know, and I always thought that was something really cool, just get other people's opinions and be able to voice my opinions. And it's really nice, because you don't really get that a lot.
Yeah. And for me, you know, the one regret is I didn't ask you sooner. I actually got I wish I'd gotten the idea a lot sooner. But I actually waited like 2 weeks to ask you, mainly because one part I kept forgetting because, you know, life. And two, I was like, oh, there's no way he's gonna say yes. That's gonna be like, that's $15. I mean, I haven't gone to the movie theater. I thought it was $15, but you know, it was a little more reasonable. But thankfully,
10.
10, just a little bit more reasonable.
IMAX 15.
Do you have like a fun memory as far as recording?
You know, I do. I still remember a lot of the movie theaters, like when we went to see The Great Gatsby. Mm. There was that person in the audience that sounded like they were gonna die. Remember?
Yes.
Oh my god, this person was coughing, hacking. We're like, oh my god, please do not do this during the movie, which he didn't, which was awesome. Then we had the guy when we went to go see the Fast and the Furious. There's a guy behind us. We're talking about the tank scene. And like, you see how fast that tank's going? That thing's going like 120. There's no tank in the world that does like 120. And the guy behind me is like, oh, but there's some tanks out there that really go that fast. And I go, yeah, probably in a straight line. But this thing's going around turns and everything like that, like at 120 miles an hour. That ain't happening. He goes, yeah, no.
But, you know, there was one tank in GTA that could do that.
You had to do like up, left, right, O, C, D, V, A. Yeah, this is a different system than all you have out there. It's a futuristic one. No, but, you know, and it was cool because, and then we didn't go see Despicable Me together. Yeah,
that one we had to see. We like took.
Yeah, because I had something to do the night before. I had to go in early or something like that. And but it was cool to go in there to see a kid movie, you know, because as adults we see like, oh yeah, here comes this awesome like thing, and like you see it and, like that would never happen in real life, you know, because this. We rationalize everything as we get older, and when you see kids, it's awesome, and it reminds you that, you know, if you stop rationalizing things and just enjoy what you see, the movie experience is so much better. And you know, and that got me thinking, and it's really cool to actually, because you don't really think about the people around you when you interact, but you know, when you start talking to people afterwards, you're like, hey, you know, oh my god, you remember this in the beginning? Oh yeah, and you know, it's kind of cool, especially like. And like the guy with the Fast and Furious, I've never met this guy before. Malcolm's never met this guy before. But you know, we had a conversation about something, and you know, two complete strangers all having this conversation about something. That's one thing cool I like about movies. You know, they can bring strangers together. You know, just like concerts and music and stuff like that, events. So doing this was really cool because, like I said, you know, we get to hang out, we get to talk about stuff, and it, you know, put our opinions out there, hear some feedback, and I always liked that. And but I have so many memories. And I mean, when we went and saw like Evil Dead, oh my god, there's a new Ash. Wait, no, that's the new Ash. Wait, that's the new Ash. You know, when we were both talking and trying to figure out, and then we went and go saw Scary Movie 5. We're like, and we both knew we both wanted to get a leave. You know,
except we did.
And you know it's just we had fun heckling the movie, like when the car is driving through the garden and there's like nobody in the car because it's the little remote control thing, and it like looks so crappy effects wise, and you know, and then we start talking about like other people that were like, oh my god, remember this and that. I mean, we saw so many good movies and so many bad movies, and I remember when we went to go see Pain and Gain. You know, me and Malcolm going in, we were like, oh, it's gonna be hilarious, da, da, da. And then the first title that comes up based on a true story, me and Malcolm both looked at each other like, what the hell? This is supposed to be a comedy, I thought. Yeah, me too. You know, and we both were hit right off the bat with like a brick, like, wait a minute here. How is this a comedy?
It wasn't, no. As far as some memories I have, I remember Fast and Furious 6. I remember, as well as the stuff you mentioned, a lot of people were on their cell phones during the entire movie, to which I have to ask, somebody out there explain to me, why would you do that? You're paying $10 to sit down and play on your phone. Dude, there's a movie going on right there. Oh.
Yep. You know, and it's like they have their phone on like mega bright, like it's a Maglite phone. And they just, and they have the phones going off all the time, and it's like that. You're like, oh my god, come on, people.
Yeah, and also I remember everyone getting up, not knowing there's going to be a stinger at the end, and then when it comes on, they just stand up there. I can't see. Finally, I'm like, sit down, and then it was amazing. All of a sudden, everyone starts sitting down.
The power of the word sit. You know, and we had a lot of movies we got to see, and you know, the hardest part was the ride to set up to shoot.
Yeah, it was a process, because first using the camera, I didn't know everything about the camera we're using, which is a very, very nice, it's like a Canon M700 or something like that. And I'll look at it. No, wait, M41. Thank you. All right. Thank you to me.
I'm going to say, who you thanking? Because I don't see anybody else saying about me, and I didn't say anything.
So, you know, eventually I had to figure out stuff about lighting. I would eventually splurge and get the Rode directional mic that has really helped out as far as our sound goes. And even when I got it, if you remember, the first couple of episodes, the sound was still pretty shitty, mainly because I didn't know that there was a setting I had to flip in the camera, which still baffles me to this day, because like one was an option for mic and one was built-in audio, and apparently you're supposed to pick built-in audio, not the mic, because mic is the mic that was built in, even though it's confusing. But
I blame it on the wiring.
Goddamn Canon. And it was a learning process though, because you know at first it would take us forever to set up, because you know I'm kind of a perfectionist, and like, okay, how about here, move it over here, okay, how's it here, and then after a while it's like, okay, Ding, ding, ding. And sit down, done. So,
What was that? How'd that go? Oh my god, one of my favorite memories though is I remember. Now, one thing cool about this is we got to go to different movie theaters because some movies that we wanted to see weren't playing the night before at the theater we usually go to. So we go to this one up in Concord. And it's not a new theater. So it's got like the handicap spots that are like railed in so the wheelchair can go right in there, which is a great idea. And I think it's awesome. And unfortunately the new theaters don't have that because they all have stairs instead of ramps. But we're sitting there, and this was after the whole Batman thing, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, I turn to Malcolm, and I go, you remember that Batman thing? He's like, yeah. I go, I've never felt that could actually happen around here, but I feel like that could happen in this theater. Malcolm turns to me and goes, thanks for that.
That's what I want to think, that this is my last movie. What movie were we seeing?
It wasn't anything like Batman. It was...
Gosh, we've done quite a few movies at this
Yeah,
point,
I know,
guys.
right?
I'm struggling to fit.
Was Evil Dead?
Well, at least it would have been out on a good movie. It was definitely the best horror movie I saw that summer.
Yes.
All right. In hindsight, here's another movie. Are there any movies that you may have liked or disliked, but now in hindsight you look back and say, you know what, it wasn't that bad, or what was I thinking?
Well, I don't know if I mentioned it, but World War Z.
Yeah, you were mentioning it a little bit.
I went and saw it. It was a great movie, but it's not zombies. I realized after I watched it. I was sitting there thinking about it, talking to people about it.
It's kind of like the rage virus from...
Right, it's like they're infecting people. They're not killing people, eating their brains or anything. And it always reminds me of the Smurfs, and not the cinematic thing with Neil Patrick Harris. The cartoon back in the day. There's an episode where like one of the Smurfs gets infected and turns purple.
Purple, yeah.
And it doesn't like walk in hops, and it's just like it has like it just goes nah 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 nah.
Nice shout out to Chinese zombies there. I like
right?
that.
And so it bites like the tails of the blue Smurfs, and they would turn purple. And so they're like infecting all the Smurfs. I'm like, wow, this is like World War Z. Well, actually, the World War Z is more like the Smurfs. And then I saw it again for the second time, and I'm like, yeah, it wasn't a bad movie. And I'm watching it, and I'm like, you know what? Not as good as the first time I saw it.
Would you say it's a bad film though, or would you?
No, it's not a bad film, but I think it loses a little bit each time you watch it.
It loses a little bit for me just because of that ridiculously long product placement at the end. He takes like a full minute to drink a pit. There's like literally one scene. He's in he's got a disease. He has to get through all these zombies, and he literally stops for like 30 minutes to a minute and drinks a Pepsi in full view. Full vending machine behind him. Full label there. It was like... Okay.
And it had a pretty cool label on it too, just so you know.
It was a pretty nice...
Pepsi labels are so amazing. I don't know why they don't have them over here.
It was a pretty nice futuristic Pepsi. Let's see, for me...
Oblivion.
Oh, you can't... Did we not like that?
I don't know. I don't think we did because it was... The build-up took too long. And everything. And... I watched it again. I still felt the same.
Oh, she didn't change.
Yeah. What about you?
After watching After Earth, I gained a whole fuck ton of new appreciation for Oblivion. After Earth, they didn't even try. Like I said, they're in futuristic Earth, but there's no way to tell that really. They didn't show any ruins. No,
they did. They showed ruins.
In After Earth?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Will Smith's career got ruined.
Oh. But, no. At least with Oblivion, they took that ball and ran with it. They had some really nice stuff. I like the futuristic stuff in it, even though it looks like it's straight out of Portal. But aside from that, it looks really good.
It did have a lot of good premises and stuff like that. I just think that because there's not a lot of characters in it, it's hard to keep interest. When you just have two people working off each other for like 90% of the movie, you kind of just get like...
Let's see. And what else? I sort of came around on Pain and Gain, to be honest. I mean, if you go in there knowing what it is, which is what I think a lot of the rage that came from our review is that, we were told this is what it is, and then we go in and it's not.
We were bamboozled.
Indeed.
Hoodwinked.
Indeed, but I sat down and watched it again. It's okay if you go in there knowing it's a dark comedy, then it's all right. Like Sandra watched it, and she enjoyed it.
A lot of people enjoy it.
Oh, and by the way, I saw Now You See Me. Okay, I don't know if I would quite go as much love as you did, but I have to say it did a fantastic job. I didn't figure out the ending until literally they started the shot, and I was like, oh wait a minute. I like saw him look at the guy saying, "Hi, you know who did it, huh?" And I'm like, oh, that son of a bitch.
It is, and that was one of my favorite movies of the whole summer. I bought it I pre-ordered it as soon as I got home, and I think it's great because you take all these egotistical people who are renowned in their field of magic, except for, of course, one, the petty thief, James Franco's brother. And all these egos have to come together and coincide. And, the stuff they do and, like, how the whole story is just awesome. How it's all tied in at the end. And it's just so greatly done. And you don't have that methodical planning out in a lot of movies nowadays. Like, nowadays it's like, this person is like the bad guy. These are all the bad things he's done. These are the heroes getting up to where he is now. Okay.
Yeah, I will say that, go at the start of the movie, I thought they were going to go one way with the magic. I thought it was going to be all practical magic. But then, you see What's-Her-Face jump in a bubble. I'm like, okay, they're going to be a little bit of CG in this. But otherwise, you know what? Once you realize that's what they're going and you just accept it, which is what I think a lot of critics who didn't like it didn't do. Yeah, it's a great film. I would watch a sequel.
And the funny thing is magic is sleight of hand because a lot of magicians do everything physically in front of you. When David Copperfield and them did all like the tricks and stuff, or they made things disappear, walk through walls and stuff like that on camera, they did exactly what they did in Now You See Me, where they used tricks with the camera to help pull off their illusion. Now we got so much technology, we can increase the ideas of the illusion. And so, yeah, it's CG, but it's still the idea of the illusion. It's granted, it's not sleight of hand, it's not how it normally is. Although, did you pick the right card at the beginning?
Here's the thing.
You didn't even play, did you?
No. A co-worker explained everything before I watched it.
What?
Yeah, I was like...
Inconceivable.
I was gonna watch it that night, and I was like talking to him, and Alex, I'm blaming you, asshole. We were talking with him, and he was like, "Oh my god!" And that card trick at the beginning, and like, "Yeah, I've heard good things." Like, "Yeah, I can't believe he da 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 da." And like, "Oh, it's such a great trick," and he's like, and I'm like, "Yeah, too bad I can't enjoy it now, asshole."
And the cool thing I liked about that trick, the one thing that I think was the most brilliant thing with that trick is, if you watch it again, you notice that the card pauses a little bit longer than the other ones.
Yes, I did notice that at first.
But when you watch it in movie theaters, you don't see it. When you watch it for the first time, you don't see it if you don't know what you're watching.
But I don't think it was in the second time he does it.
No, but just the first time. But you already have it in your head of what it is.
Yeah, let's not talk too much about it.
But I'm not going to tell you the card. But that trick at the very beginning, when you pick his card, and he picks your card that you said, that immediately puts you in the movie. That sets you for the forefront for the whole movie. You're already locked in, like, oh my god, that was like amazing. And because that trick pulled you in, it makes that movie so much better because you're already connected to that movie. And I thought that was ingenious. Another magical movie that came out over the summer, The Incredible Wonderstone. Did you ever see that?
No, I didn't.
Steve Carell, Jimmy Buscemi, and Jim Carrey.
I've heard of it, but did you see it?
Yes.
What did you think?
It was good. Not an amazing movie where I'm going to tell everybody around there and buy it, but definitely check it out. Olivia Wilde's in it. Jim Carrey plays like the Chris Angel version, and David Copperfield actually makes an appearance in the movie. So that's kind of cool because I've never seen David Copperfield in like 20 years. He still looks the same. I don't know if he makes the wrinkles disappear with his magic. Who knows? But no, it's not like, I wouldn't say it's like when you watch it, like, I am so glad I watched this movie. It's the best movie in the world. But it's really cool.
All right, I got another one. What was a movie you were expecting to dislike, but surprised you and you ended up liking it? Like, for me, it was White House Down.
I'm going to have to agree with you on that.
Yeah.
You look at it and you're like, okay.
Channing Tatum. Oh, Jamie Foxx. Oh.
No, I actually like Jamie Foxx.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, but, he doesn't get a lot of those roles where he's serious enough. I mean, you see him and you're thinking, okay, he's like the cocky guy. He's kind of like the black Ryan Reynolds. You see him in a movie, you don't expect him to have that seriousness. He always has that little goofiness to him.
That's an interesting analogy. I like that.
And that, that's exactly how you picture the character. But in this movie, he has it, but on such a smaller scale than he normally does. And I think he pulls it off great because he's serious when he needs to be, and he throws in a little bit of himself every now and again, so it's him. And I think if you give that actor the ability to be themselves a little bit, you get more out of them. And he has such a dynamic that he can do, and I think he's underappreciated as an actor. And he can actually take those roles. And this is a film that reminds me that, because you see it and you're like, do I really want Wanda from In Living Color being the president? I don't know.
La Wanda. What I really liked about it is not only was it a really good action film, but it had a very 90s vibe to it too.
Yes.
Which made it like both hysterical as well as actiony. And Channing Tatum I thought did a good job too.
He did. His acting in this kind of reminded me of Bruce Willis in Die Hard.
Yes.
And this is one of those movies that I want to see again. I think it's out October 19th?
19th, maybe. I think so.
Somewhere in there.
Oh, alright.
But I mean, it was one of those movies like, alright, we've seen G.I. Joe where Cobra takes over the White House. We have, what was the other one there? With,
Magic Mike?
No. That doesn't have to do anything with the presidency.
White House Down? Or wait.
No, White House Down is the one we're talking about.
Olympus Has Fallen.
Olympus Has Fallen. With all these different things where the White House is being attacked, it's like, oh my god, do I really want to see another movie where the White House is like the key thing? Not really. It's just, it's overplayed.
White House exploitation.
You can no longer visit the White House. We made movies where you can see the inside of the White House, get a virtual tour of it without actually going there because you're no longer allowed in the White House.
But we're headed there. You go to the White House, it's nothing like the movies.
But no, it was a lot better than what I thought, and like I said, I was already all set with all the White House movies out there and everything like that. But I was surprised with this one.
Yeah.
Was there any movie that you thought was going to be an awesome movie, and when you saw it, you were like, oh.
After Earth.
I knew that answer.
Yeah, After Earth, I was actually really excited for. That's why my wife came and saw it too, because she really thought it sounded like cool.
And from the very get go, I was against this movie. That's why I went and saw it. Now You See Me.
Well, at the same time, that was the reason we saw Scary Movie, like, because we should, if we're gonna do a review show, we have to do. It can't be all good movies, or else people are gonna be like, well, they did a review on it. I guess it's okay. Let's not click on it.
Right, but
yeah, I actually thought it would be good, and they dropped the ball. They not only dropped the ball, they shot it, for Christ's sake.
It's almost like watching the Avatar.
What about you? Was there something you had high hopes for?
Not really. I know everything I thought was going to be like,
Probably Pain and Gain then for you, though.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, yeah, because, I keep forgetting. It's like blocked in my mind. But no, I was thinking going in there it's gonna be hilarious, stuff like that. But I couldn't get past the part where it's real, And then, I went and I looked it up online and stuff like that about what really happened. And the guy that plays Monk's character really got ran over by a car twice, tortured, and all this other stuff. And, here's this guy that suffered all this time, and now they throw him in there like a cartoon character. And then you have the people who they go to next to try to get money from. They end up killing. They chop up their body parts, and they placed them in buckets and left them out throughout the interstate.
Okay.
And so, they make it look like an accident of all this in the movie, and then you see, in real life what they did. They actually put... I'm sorry, if you think it's an accident, that's one thing. But when you put people, chop them up, put them in buckets, and, leave them on the highway, pieces of them in buckets, that's messed up, man.
It is. I will give some honorable mentions for this topic here. Man of Steel. I had high hopes for. It looked good.
I thought this.
I mean, I'm not
going in and coming out.
I mean, it had the guy behind the Batman trilogy behind it. How could it fail? But it didn't.
My favorite parts, actually, if they actually would have done this, they done a prequel of Superman where they had Jor-El, the whole character with that and the whole thing. I love that whole part. All that part where they went on Krypton and stuff like that. That was awesome.
Mm.
And then
Krypton was cool.
And then when he was what's his name? Russell Crowe was the hologram and stuff like that. Russell Crowe was the most amazing actor in that whole movie.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought it made Superman to be a dick and what's the word? Oh yeah, homicidal maniac. And also the announcement of the sequel where they're just going to jump straight into the freaking Batman versus Superman just shows they don't know what they're doing and they don't know about pacing. Another honorable mention, Sharknado. I actually thought that would be a fun... from the way people talked about it, I thought it would be at least funny. But
it had so much hype and so much... when you hear it on the radio, oh my god, this sci-fi movie is getting all this hype and stuff like that, you're like, okay, alright, I'll check it out. I didn't check out Mega Shark versus Sharktopus and all these other ones, but you know what? I'll check out Sharknado. Yeah.
I don't know which one was more horrible, the graphics they used on the shark or Tara Reid's acting.
Oh, they weren't the same?
Oh.
When you take a chainsaw, hold it up over your head, and you can cut a 600-pound great white shark in half perfectly without the chainsaw moving at all, there's a problem with that.
Okay, here's the question for you. I'm going to go into worst and best movie, but I think people who have been following this, if not at least listening to this, pretty much know what it is. Okay, so which one was worse? Scary Movie 5 or Sharknado?
Scary Movie 5.
Really?
Yes.
Now, why Scary Movie 5?
Just because it's the fifth one. If you can't improve,
it's depressing. It's made it this
way, right? When something slowly goes downhill and they keep pushing him and pushing him, if this was Sharknado 4, I'd have to go with Scary Movie 5 was better. But Sharknado is something they just threw out there. This is the fifth installment. Now, Scary Movie had some pretty good movies.
Mm. The first one was really good.
As soon as the Wayans brothers are no longer in it. And what's her name?
Wayne's brothers yeah, we'll try this white chick movie out.
A lot of people like that movie for some reason.
A lot of people like Scary Movie 5 too. It made actually really good box office money, believe it or not.
That's because they just want to see Charlie Sheen get thrown around the room by.
That, and if you could tell, it's really cheap to make.
Yeah.
They weren't trying at all. In my opinion, it's hard to pick because Sharknado, if you have an attention for detail, is really painful to watch.
Yes, it is.
It's
a flood. They're standing in a puddle.
However, at the same time, at least it was only an hour long. And heckling it was fun. With Scary Movie 5, you just get depressed that it's gained the success it has and will continue to have.
But also with Sharknado, you have a lot of people that you haven't seen in movies and stuff like that before. So you kind of give them a slide.
Yeah, Ian Ziering, Steve Sanders from 90210, for those who don't know.
Or the bad guy from Stand Tall with The Rock.
Or the guy who voiced Vinny from Biker Mice from Mars. He was trying.
Yeah.
He actually get like...
When you put up opposite against Tyree, there's only so much you can do to try to save a movie.
I'll never forget that scene where he's like acting with his daughter. And the daughter is just reading the line. No acting behind it. Then it cuts to Steve and is like, what do you mean you don't... He's actually trying to act. And she's like, but you don't love me, Father. What do you mean I don't love you? I went and actually drove and killed...
I came here first. You know, and it's not Kristen Stewart that played the daughter. Just making sure you all know that.
Okay, so here's... What was your favorite of the movies we saw?
I really like Now You See Me.
I figured you'd go with that. For me, Furious 6. That was so much fun to watch. It's just like...
Yeah.
As soon as you see Rock start juggling the guy in the air, it's like, okay.
The Rocknado!
Oh, I would watch that movie. As soon as I saw that, I looked at Beck and I'm like, okay, this is going to be a good time. They didn't even try to...
When did The Rock get superpowers?
They all have superpowers. It's like, you have Vin Diesel crashing a car to propel himself into the air to catch someone who's flying, Michelle Rodriguez, who's also flying in the air, and then crash into another car to break their fall. No cuts. Completely unscathed.
And not even injured. Like, not even like, oh, it's like, oh, how'd you know that car was going to be here? I didn't.
It's getting to a point where I really want to see the Fast and Furious crew in the Expendables.
We're getting there.
Oh, by the way, did you hear who's going to be in number 7?
Kelsey Grammer? Oh, this Kelsey Grammer is in the Expendables 3.
Expendables, yeah.
Fast and Furious? No, but I saw who's going to be the new guy in Fast and Furious 6. Is there anybody else?
No, the 7, I said.
7, yeah.
Yeah. They've got, of course, as everyone knows by now, they've got
Hopefully.
Jason Statham. Hopefully still? It's kind of late.
It's not on DVD yet.
They got Jason Statham, but finally making his re-debut in the series is that guy from Tokyo Drift.
Really? The kid's coming back?
The kid's coming back, and he's actually signed on for 3 more movies.
Nice!
Because let's face it, they're just going to keep pumping these things, and you know what? God bless them for it.
You know, and who would have thought they would have been here after seeing Tokyo Drift? I didn't mind Tokyo Drift. I understood, you know...
I thought it was nice.
You know, they were going to a different racing. You know, you gotta remember, there was so many actor jumps in this series. You had Van Diesel, who was on the first one, skipped on the second one. Then you had Paul Walker, who skipped on the third one. And so, you know, Van Diesel made his little appearance. So, you know, they didn't want to go, okay, well, let's just keep the same thing with new people. They actually went in a different direction, which I think was a smart idea. Only because it gave another element to the series without trying to copy it with new people. Because I think if they did, like, this is the new Van Diesel, this is new Paul Walker, it would have just killed the series right there. But where they took it and they turned it into another faction of racing, which is the drift racing.
You remember when Paul Walker was the star of of the movies?
No.
It was like 1 or 2 movies.
It wasn't the Fast and Furious movies. There's always been Van Diesel.
No. Like the first one, it was like he was the protagonist because he was infiltrating Vin Diesel's.
Yeah, but people didn't care to see him. If you ever watch,
he's still the protagonist.
I love Psych, right?
Okay.
There's a scene in Psych where Sean's sitting on on one of the hoods of the cars, and his girlfriend and Gus are in the car next to him. He's gonna jump on him. He's like, "Oh, it's like Fast and the Furious. You're Van Diesel and she's Michelle Rodriguez." He's like, "Yeah, it makes you Paul Walker." I don't like that. I didn't want to be Paul Walker.
Paul Walker really had nothing to do in the movie.
You know, he's actually, you know, he's good in the movies. I'm not gonna knock him, but if it's not for Fast and the Furious, nobody really goes to see him. You know.
Oh yeah, he's not the draw. Like Dwayne Johnson in one movie became more of a draw than Paul Walker. Testament to The Rock. He's really getting there as far as being an action guy.
Yeah, he's getting big too. Hopefully it doesn't explode.
Oh, he will, man. Jesus. Have you seen like the picture on Facebook where it compares like 1994 Rock to today Rock? Like only The Rock could make himself look like a pussy. God damn. All right, here's one. Any what was your favorite thing that we've done? Your favorite episode of ours?
My favorite episode of ours, I would have to say, would be.
Want me to go?
Yeah.
My favorite was Should Ben Affleck be Batman? I really enjoyed how we tackled that subject. I was really happy with the conclusion we came to. And I wish we had a chance to do more episodes like that, tackling some sort of theme. But yeah, I really enjoyed how we did it. That was also the episode where I finally figured out how to make a custom image to be the image for the episode. And by the way, a DC XM, thank you very much. That was awesome. You do an awesome job with the freaking pictures. They're great.
Mine, I'd have to say, would be Superman. Only because I'm a Marvel fan, and anytime I see DC like explode the ball, they don't even drop it. It doesn't hit the ground. It just goes. Pfft. You know, and we get into our little like tizzies about comics, and you know, and that's one thing I always like because, you know, I'm pure like Marvel, and there's a couple people in DC I like. I like the Flash. I like Batman. I just don't like DC's villains. And anytime I get to point out how bad DC's villains are, and how much the flagship of DC, which was Superman at one point, is so, like, I think if they keep going, Superman is actually going to be under Aquaman.
I
want you to make an Aquaman movie. Just one. I want to see if Aquaman the movie can be better than your Man of Steel's movies.
Actually, there was a movie, and I mentioned it a while ago, and this is where you went on that tirade about...
I always do.
Professor Zoom, Flash's arch nemesis, but it was like Paradox at Flashpoints or something, and it showed, you know, this alternate world where Wonder Woman was leading Themyscira and actually took over England, and Aquaman, who's like, you don't realize how powerful he is because he's a king of an entire flipping kingdom. He has Atlantis and like all these every other bad guy.
Here's a funny thing, you know, people look at Aquaman like Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah.
He's the comedy guy that comes from the ocean. He lives in an ocean city like Jar Jar Binks, and when he comes up and starts talking, nobody wants to hear what he's saying.
Yeah, he talks to goldfish is what most people think. But no, he's pretty badass when he wants to be. But yeah, that was a fun episode. Mainly because I was shocked how much I didn't like it. Oh God. Here's one last one. Do you have any regrets? Like, is there anything you wish we could have had the chance to review or that didn't get to it?
You know, I always regret that it's gonna end.
Yeah, it's a shame we didn't get back to the movies at some point.
You know, it was a shame. I think it was actually more fun doing the older movies for a little bit.
Mm.
You know, because it gives people an insight on what we like and stuff. And it gives us more of a chance to, like, bounce back and forth. And really, there's not a lot of good movies coming out.
Yeah.
Like, in the last, like, month and a half, only Pitch Black, the new Riddick was the only one that came out that a lot of people were interested in.
I really wanted to see the new Thor with you. I was kind of...
That comes out in November.
I know. This was back when I didn't know when we were going to be moving, which, by the way, moving to North Carolina. This will actually be the last time you see this set and probably this couch. But for a while, we didn't know when we were going to move. There was talk about after Christmas, and I was like, oh, great, we can see Thor together, but no. I also had an idea for a lousy martial arts movie day. Where they got... you remember this martial arts film called Only the Strong? It's a very old one that features this guy with capoeira. And if you saw it...
Don't talk to me right now.
What's that?
Don't talk to me right now. I like that movie. I own that movie.
You'll...
Mark Dacascos, the guy who is in the chef Iron Chef show. He's the host. He actually knows martial arts, and I like a lot of the stuff he does. In that movie, I liked it.
So, wait, this is the same Bonga No Way?
Yeah.
Bonga No Way. Oh, I love
It's
it.
Mana No Way.
Mana No Way?
Not Bonga No Way.
Oh, you just ruined my childhood.
I own the movie. I liked it. You know, it's an 80s movie. So you kind of have like the old 80s like street like thing where you got like there's like little rivalry going on, and it's nothing like major, and you know it has the 80s twist. If you like the old 80s movies, you know it was great. It's not a martial arts movie.
Yeah.
They use martial arts in it, but it's not really a martial arts movie.
Yeah, I wanted to do like a martial arts month. It would be like that. I wanted to do Ricky-O, the story of Ricky, if you've heard of that one.
Is that like the spoof of Bruce Lee?
It's not a spoof. It was like an actual anime / manga where the guy just had like superhuman strength, and it was pretty much more brutal than Fist of the North Star, because you had like the guy would kick so hard that he would actually tear into flesh, or like one time like he punched a guy so hard that his intestines fell out, and then the guy collapsed, and he was like, I need to tell you one last thing. So he bends down, then the guy grabs his own intestines and wraps them around the guy's neck and starts to strangle him. Oh my god. But yeah, I wanted to do stuff like that, and it's a shame because you know this was a fun experience. I mean, this was primarily we would have talks about this. I never did this to seek any kind of internet fame. I wouldn't know what to do with it, to be frank. I just wanted an experience in front of the mic and in front of the camera, and thankfully Ryan was there to help me out, because I always feel like the best circumstances, like such as the case with my podcast with Joe Garcia, the firmware update, please click on that and look like it. The best talks are between people, so
Right.
yeah.
Usually if it's not people talking, it's not really talking.
Yeah. It's just me explaining to you. Even though I did enjoy that one, just for the experience of it, that one episode I did of Red 2 where I explained that.
One thing I like about doing co-review also is when you hear other people's insight, you're like, oh my god. And it also reminds you of the stuff that you wanted to talk about that you forgot. But then when somebody says something, oh yeah.
So anyway, before we end this, I just want to list off some thank yous. First and foremost, thanks very much to my bosses at the Geek Link, Zalaga, and Smikey. Because in previous places I've worked in, let's just say, they would have a problem with me bringing in an outsider who doesn't work for the website in. But they had no problems. In fact, they gave me a lot of freedom. They gave me a YouTube channel to play with, for crud's sake. So thanks very much, Zalaga and Smikey, for letting Fat Kid aboard. By the way, they wanted to say they're going to miss you.
I don't know how you can miss a fat kid.
Also I call him Vegeta.
My cousin,
Yes.
Josh.
The guy who's always commenting on our videos. He always leaves at least one for us. Sadly, has already said that he's not going to continue to follow me once you leave. But hey, thanks very much for leaving the comments. I always had fun watching them as you weren't a jerk. And he even stood up for us that one time. Or was that actually you as him?
No, that was him.
That was him. You're okay, Josh. Thank you. Also want to thank Damien, one of our best buddies, Damien Martin, who actually let us use his house for 2 of the reviews. And it was pretty much on the same day, but yeah.
Yes.
So
that was the After Earth and Now You See Me.
Yep. So yep, thanks very much. It's to Damien, and also thank you to Damien Bumford, your cousin once again, and Curtis Drinkwater for giving us all the suggestions for Fan Appreciation Week, or the Fan Requests Month. Excuse me. It's late right now, folks. And I've had a hard day. God damn it. So many goodbyes.
I want us to do one more thanks to add to Malcolm's list. I want to thank Malcolm.
Oh, man.
For hanging in there, doing all these with me, and inviting me on to do this with him. You know, it was really cool, and I had a lot of fun doing it. I'm going to miss you. I'm going to miss this. But just because I said I miss you doesn't mean I'm never going to see you again.
Indeed.
It might be a little drive. It might be a distance. It might be a journey of the unknown.
And folks, as I may have just said, this isn't the end for me. I'm still going to be doing something in front of a camera. But till then, once again, for the last time, this is Malc and the Fat Kid.
Take it easy.
Bye.